Hello again, it's Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. And we are so glad that you have joined us. Ashley Stremme and Steve Post, we are fixing to have a ball because Tim Kaeding is our guest. I know you laugh, I laugh, we all smirk, we all smile because TK is one of everybody's favorites. So we're going to talk to TK, and that is going to be awesome. How are you?
I'm great. I just got back from the Speed Palace, a weekend hanging out with the big block modifieds up there. And
we'll talk a little bit more about that because you did a nice tweet on that.
Yeah,
exactly. And I've been busy. It's been great as far as that goes. But Ashley, some news here over the last few weeks got me thinking about sprint car drivers at a crossroads. And we saw this a year or two ago when Joey Saldana was struggling to find a ride, and he's found his way into the business world and drives a few times. When we look at Darren Pittman, he has announced that he is not going to go full-time, and he has suggested there are options from a aggressive racing schedule, not following any tour, to never behind the wheel of a race car again. It's just weird.
You know, we all, for lack of a better term, have to grow up at some point, right? We
yeah.
all have to retire from something we love, whether it be race. This instance, it's racing. Obviously, it's not what we want to see any of them do, but such is life. And sometimes it's a little greener on the other side, and they just never realized it.
Yeah, the horror of horrors for Paul McMahon is he had to go get a real job, and he loves it. And he gets to race on the side, but he's without a ride going into next year, at least at this point, or that we're aware of. You see Shane Stewart. He's bouncing around, just picked up a win with the World of Outlaws, so it's not like he's not good, but he has started a side business, the porta potty business up in there. So it's fascinating to me when these drivers get to this crossroads. It really is.
It is.
And the thing of it is, the challenge for us is these are our modern day heroes now.
Yes.
It happens to all of them. It happened to AJ Foyt. It happened to Mario Andretti. It happened to Richard Petty. But like these are our contemporaries, and some of them are younger than us. Well, not you, but some are younger than me.
Right.
Some are younger than me.
But every superhero must hang up his cape at some point, right?
Oh,
I mean,
God,
even though I hate it, but it's true.
Say it isn't so. Well, speaking of superheroes, it was the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. And it was Danny Dietrich, a man of many capes, for sure, with Tyler Ross and Bradley Howard. Here is Wayne Harper with the call on Flow Racing.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Howard's still your leader. Dietrich has moved into second as he gets past Ross, and he will challenge for the race lead. Danny Dietrich, your new race leader.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. We are in the Hercules Tires studios in Concord, North Carolina, and we are going to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us fresh off from a good weekend with the Tony Stewart Racing number 14 car, Tim Kaeding. Hello, Tim. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey there, Steve. Hey, Ashley. How you doing?
We are fantastic. Tim, when you get the call to drive for Tony Stewart, I would say that's a pretty good thing for you as well. You did it at Eldora, and now you're going to finish the season. How did this all come together for you guys?
You know, I think a little bit has to do with Jason Sides and Ricky Warner. They wanted somebody to come in and, kind of evaluate what their program was lacking a little bit. There's a lot of good drivers, great drivers out there that probably could give them more information and tell them what to do. But, they gave me a call and gave me an opportunity to come run for them. And, I'm thankful for the opportunity. I mean, it's an awesome feeling knowing that, this caliber of a team is, letting somebody like me that's, a bit of a goofball and has fun and get in a race car that, is potentially capable of winning every night it goes on the racetrack.
Obviously, 2020 has been a unique situation with everything that we've dealt with COVID and racing being minimal. How has this you've really taken lemons and made lemonades and added vodka to an extent with your season, because California really wasn't racing. And you've kind of gotten to travel with the World of Outlaws and now with Tony Stewart Racing. Did you ever expect this to actually turn out like this?
No, I actually, with everything that's gone on in California, 410 racing being shut down, my team, the 42 car I run back home, we ran, I think, 8 races this year back home, and 5 of them were 410 races. So, to be able to have the opportunities with Dave Lunstra, Jason Sides, now with Tony Stewart Racing, it's been one of those years. It's been a long year of traveling and being away from home. The biggest thing, I miss my little guy, but he's able to come out and hang out with us a couple times this year. But with just the way this year is going, it's definitely a good brand of vodka at the end of this year so far. So it definitely made the lemonade a lot sweeter, I can tell you that.
Who doesn't love some good vodka? That is for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Last time I drank vodka, we were in Nashville.
Yes. That's right. Yes, the big Nashville experience for sure. Yeah, that's right. At the vodka plant. That was Big Machine Big Machine Vodka. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Slurpees were going down way too easily that day.
Oh my gosh, yes they were. Oh, good times, that's for sure. Oh God, Tim Kaeding joins us on the line. Tim, we've talked, and a lot of people are very familiar with relationship with Jason Sides, and we may get into that a little bit further. But Dave Lunstra. And you, a couple years ago, you actually moved up there and raced during the summer with him. This has been a guy that has been a blessing to you, and has to be a good guy to have in your corner, because you actually got to win with him at Houston's earlier this year as well.
Yeah, Dave's an awesome guy. The whole Lunstra family, Dave, Jamie, Max Reagan, everybody that helps out on that car, Tim Hogarth. Dave got out of racing 2017. 2018 when Houston closed, and he kept the car, kind of sold everything, kept the car and a motor and some stuff to go racing here and there. But he's like an older brother that looks after me and helps me out any way that he possibly can, and I cannot be thankful enough for the opportunities that he's given me. They had to deal with me quite a bit this year, and Jason and a lot of other race teams coming in and out of his shop, and he loves it. He loves when the race cars are there. He gets to hang out with all his friends from racing, and we all sit around and we sit there and cook good food, BS, and drink a lot of Captains. So hopefully we can get a Captain Morgan sponsor for him one of these years.
Nothing else, just product. Get a product deal. You'll be all right.
I would take product. Yes, bring a bunch of cases, and we'll be happy with that.
That's great.
I absolutely love it. Tim, your approach to racing, there are very few that approach racing like you do. Usually when you walk around the pits, everyone's straight-laced and kind of buttoned up. And when you look at Tim or you look at Jason Sides, you guys are still really competitive, and you still are there for a reason. It's to win races, but you approach it so much differently than anybody else. Has it always been that way for you, or was there a part of you back in the early stages that was pretty buttoned up and you've realized that this is about having fun?
I think I've worn maybe 5 button-up shirts to a racetrack. I'm not a normal person, I guess, is what you want to say. I'm a goofball. I have fun. I like joking with people. And the more serious that I am at a racetrack, usually the worse I do throughout the night, because I overthink everything. So when I keep an open mind and I'm able to have fun and joke around, like me and Jay always joke around and laugh and, just make it a good time. Jason's mentality is high strung when it comes to a race car as mine is. But if you're not having fun, there's no reason to do it. It's in any sport. If it becomes a job and something that you dislike, it's not really any reason to waste time and or money of other people. So if you can go into it, smiling, having a good time, casual, relaxed, it's going to make for a better night for everybody in every state of what's going on. I mean, it's racing's become so political, and any other sport has been the same way, that if you can't have a little bit of fun and joke around with people and make them smile and relax and take the edge off a little bit, I think it's not a very good scenario for anybody. If you can have fun with it, go with it, run with it, and smile and laugh. And, at the end of the night, if you have a good night, you have a few beers. If you have a crappy night, you're still going to have a few more beers. So, you got to enjoy life. And, my son's brought that back into my life, and how much fun he has when he goes to the racetrack. And that's been the biggest thing for me for the last 4 years, is how much fun he makes me have at the racetrack, and how inquisitive and how much he wants to learn. And hopefully he still doesn't want to race when he gets a little bit older.
Yeah, there's that. That is a life lesson for everybody, as far as the having fun and enjoying and smiling, for sure. Tim, hang in there. We've got to take a break. Everyone else stick around. More with TK in just a moment.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. The Hercules Tire Hotline is where we're going back to. Tim Kaeding joins us there. TK is on the line. Tim, before the commercial break, you had mentioned your son, Tannen, and having fun at the racetrack. Okay, we have established, because we've already talked extensively about rum and vodka, that you go to and beer, that you go to the racetrack and have a good time. What's it like when Dad, Tim Kaeding, when Tannen is with you guys? How is that different at the racetrack, and what's that like to be able to take your son to the racetrack?
It's an amazing feeling. I mean, any driver that's able to take their son or child to the races, it's an unbelievable feeling. You sit there and they want to play. They could care less about all the BS in the world, and it brings so much fun to everybody that's around. My son is probably going to be just like his dad when he gets older, and a comedian, and laughs and just has fun. And he's at that stage where, he brings his bag of race cars, and I'll sit in the trailer with him and play with him, or make him a little race, dirt racetrack next to the trailer for, throughout the night. And, he's a wanderer. He loves walking around looking and seeing the different things, and he wants to crawl in cars. And he always, Dad, are you driving Jason Stein's car tonight? He makes sure who it is, and that's who he associates everything by saying their names fully. And I always have to, like, you can just call him Jason. No, that's Jason Stein, Dad. But it's just an amazing feeling, where we grew up in a time where you weren't allowed to have kids in the pits, unless it was an outlaw show. And now most racetracks you're able to bring your children into the racetrack, and you're always on edge a little bit because you don't want anything to happen to them. But it definitely takes the stress level from racing to minimal, and you worry about how much fun he's having, so you can have that much fun along with him.
And Tim, you've shared on your social media platforms him in your fire suit, or him in the driveway racing his VW van and with the helmet on. Is he going to continue to carry out the Kaeding legacy when it comes to sprint car racing?
Right now his biggest thing is we started a car up at Dave Lunster's shop, and he was in the car with me. And Dad, I want to get out of the car. It gives me butterflies in my tummy. And so he got out, and we were sitting there for a little bit, and we talked a little bit. He goes, Dad, I just like working on race cars with you. So I don't want to race yet. When I'm ready, I'll tell you. So I'm going to take that as whenever he wants to decide to drive a race car, he's more than willing to, but he's definitely going to get an education before he gets into a race car and make sure his life is pointed in the right direction. Before I let him become a professional race car driver. And hopefully he can, get some big sponsors and, keep everybody going and go from there.
Yeah, he's a Kaeding, so I don't know what the options are.
Right?
And speaking of that,
Golf.
yes, yeah, right. Yeah, golf. Speaking of that, there's a picture you put on your Facebook. He's the coolest kid in school. He's with sunglasses on and looking really, really sharp in school, but he's wearing Uncle Bud's T-shirt. So what's the deal? He couldn't get one of his old man's T-shirt. He had to get Bud Kaeding's T-shirt. He
loves his Uncle Bud. He has shirts of mine, and he'll wear them to the racetrack. But when we're not at the racetrack, it's nothing but Uncle Bud at this point in time. It's awesome to see that. I mean, my son has a pillowcase of my brother's. He lays with that thing, and it's kind of disturbing some days because it ends up in my bed. And it's like, I don't want to sleep this close to my brother. I did it 20 years ago, 30 years ago growing up. I don't want to be that close to him anymore. But, it's an awesome – he's a Bud Kaeding fan probably till the day that he dies, and then there's Dad.
Hey, there's always a good thing to have good uncles and aunts no matter what.
Yes,
Tim,
it is.
Obviously you've been on the road a lot this year, not getting to see him as much. Does he understand what you do and why you're gone and on the road? Like, do you guys chat like the next day after racing and he wants to know how you finished?
Yeah, we FaceTime every night after the races. And, his biggest thing, Dad, why didn't you win? I wanted to cheer for you and wave a checker flag for you. It's like, Dad sucked tonight. I don't know what to tell you. I couldn't get up to the front. I'm sorry, But he does understand it. He knows that Dad's racing. I think he gets pissed off when I call him before the races because he wants to be there and hang out. Kind of does I'm not talking to you, Dad. I'm just going to ignore you. And, he does his thing. But, he definitely understands that, Dad's out trying to, help keep a roof over his head and keep him, happy and be able to give him toys here and there.
That is fantastic.
Awesome.
It really, truly is. Tim, I'm telling you, we always love getting a chance to chat with you. We love it at the racetrack, but this is love doing it on the phone as well. We appreciate the time and continued success as you roll through the balance of this year.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you guys in Charlotte, and we can have a few beers afterward.
There we go. We'll plan on
Sounds
that.
good.
That's for sure. There we go. Yes, exactly. Tim Kaeding joining us here on the Hercules Tire Hotline. Stay with us. Our Tweet Your Seat Tweets of the Week are coming up next.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We're back here watching Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, and it is your time of the week. That's right, it's time for the Tweet Your Seats Tweets of the Week, and we're kicking it off with Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. This tweet comes from Brady. It's the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, and your winner was Shane Stewart. So excited for this win. It was his second win of the season, his 36th career win with the World of Outlaws. He hasn't had the season that he would like without a ride that's consistent. Obviously, he partnered up with 71, and they've been great. But the emotion that came from Shane and the whole Jason Johnson racing team after this win and him being in that 41 was incredible. Because let's face it, Jason and him were extremely close friends, and to finally win in that race was...
I'm glad I was there to witness it because It was special. It was just special. Just really, really neat. The next night, the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, they rolled into Eldon, Missouri, Lake Ozark Speedway. These treats from Michelle, from Rob, from Vanquish Vegas. Winner was James McFadden, first World of Outlaws season win of the year, $15,000. His second career win. Emotional as well because James and Jason were buddies, especially when Jason would go to Australia. They would hang out a lot. James, what a story this year. He went to Volusia and raced with the Winter Nationals, went back to Australia, and for 5 months was quarantined there because we couldn't get back and forth. Finally come back and made it pay off. Brad Sweet finished second, made it a KKR 1-2, and Donnie Schatz was third.
Now we go to Lincoln Speedway in Abbottstown, Pennsylvania. These tweets come from Nicole, Mel, and Jeff. It's the final night of the season, Steve. The year is finally wrapping up, unfortunately. Danny Dietrich, his 8th win of the season. He took the lead on lap 20 and never looked back. He was followed by Chase Dietz and Bradley Howard. And Freddie Raymer, he is your champion there at Lincoln this weekend. He finished 4th, and it's his first career championship at Lincoln Speedway.
Yeah, really neat to see Freddie get that championship for sure. Kokomo Speedway, Kokomo, Indiana. This tweet's from Dwayne. It was the Kokomo Clash weekend, and 305 Race Savers. There's a picture of Dustin Stroop's car. Looked all over, couldn't find any results, but nice looking picture of Dustin Stroop's car. Now, you talked about this at the beginning. You were tied up, yeah.
I was at the Speed Palace for the Mud Turtles. Mud buses, Mud Turtles, whatever you want to call them.
Beloved big block modifieds.
That's right.
Let's
there you go.
Yes.
It was a Super Dirt Series. $53,000 to win 200 laps. Absolutely incredible. Billy Pouch, though. Billy Pouch Jr. was the talk of the evening. We were standing right there where it happened. His throttle hung and flames were frying from the brakes. It was incredible. But anyhow, Matt Williamson was your winner.
And finally, my tweet from Millbridge Speedway. The winner was, this is 600 micros. The winner, Gavin Boschel, earlier in the night, announced as part of Team Dryden, the youngest Team Dryden guy. He picked up the win. And our buddy Dave Klinger, the president of Team Dryden, was there in Victory Lane with him. Up at Millbridge, they have the Keith Coons Give Back Classic. A ride at the Chili Bowl is on the line for the micros. Monday, it's November 2nd through the 4th. Monday practice, Tuesday heats, Wednesdays qualifying, and the A main. Hey, have you ever heard of the FBS 410 Sprint Car engine? Well, if you haven't, you will.
It's the result of a collaboration between Ford Performance, Tony Stewart Racing, and Durham Racing Engines. Tony Stewart used it in his team sprint car for the first time in mid-August last year, and 2 weeks later, TSR scored its first 410-equipped victory with the legendary Donnie Schatz behind the wheel.
And when it came to the biggest, highest-paying race of the 2020 season, it was again that Ford Power Sprint car from the National Open with Donnie Schatz at Victory Lane. So what's an FBS 410 future? The goal is an engine that can challenge for victories in series across the country as part of a Ford Performance customer program. Now that sounds like a winner. Stay with us. More Wing Nations coming up.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
There are people who say things aren't made here anymore. Those people should make a trip to Michigan, or Kentucky, or Illinois, where you'll find our workers, and dealers, and engineers, and technicians building for America. We're proud to employ more hourly workers than any other automaker in this country, because we build for this country.
It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. I love talking to Tim Kaeding, and I really love his personality, his liveliness, his nature. But you also think of the family history. His grandfather, Howard Kaeding, HK, still active and going strong at mid-80s year old. He was a legend in racing. His father, Brent, when you talk about California sprint car icons and you had to narrow it to one, he might be the one. Brent Kaeding. And then Uncle Bud and Tim. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Uncle Bud, I love that. Yeah.
I got to catch up with Tim at Dodge City earlier this year. And just like I said earlier, just the way he lets things roll off his shoulders. He doesn't let things eat at him. It's incredible what the family history has created, the dynasty that they've created in California. And we'll see if Tannen keeps that going.
I had the chance a couple years ago to hit the Kaeding Performance Shop, and you want to talk about just amazing. Just an amazing day experience to hang out with all of them. Fantastic stuff. Hey, we appreciate you taking some time out. We appreciate TK joining us, but more important than all of that, we appreciate you joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.